In part 2 of the onboarding webinar, we will examine documentation needed to register your apprentice program. Forms outlined in this portion of the webinar are critical to your apprenticeship. The U.S. Department of Labor and Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development provide oversight for statewide apprenticeship programs to ensure compliance with state and federal guidelines. Apprentice documentation is housed and monitored in a data system known as the Registered Apprenticeship Partners Information Management Data System, which is also referred to as RAPIDS. This system stores all apprenticeship documentation and tracks an apprentice's progress, wage scale, and completion date. Documentation is essential to maintain state and federal compliance and program standing. 3 forms are required for registration, which were attached to your email to include an Occupation 671, Appendix A, and Appendix D. We'll start with an overview of Occupation 671. As you'll find in this overview, each form includes information of the apprenticeship reflective of the EPP and partnered school district. An Occupation 671 is required for each candidate in your program. Documentation will be used to track and monitor the progress of an apprentice throughout their apprenticeship. Part A reflects demographic information for the apprentice. You'll find that Part B is filled in with information from the Tennessee Department of Education as the program sponsor. Now we'll review page 2. The EPP is responsible for completing number 9 to include parts A, B, and C. Number 10 is also required to reflect the apprentice wage progression and scale. The progressive wage scale outlines the progressive wage an apprentice will earn as they gain required on-the-job learning hours and experience in the field. The district provided a progressive wage scale in Section 7 of their application, and this information should be used to complete number 10. Please note, a district may prefer a different wage progressive scale depending on their program. For example, those working towards a master's degree may have a salary scale different from those working towards a bachelor's degree. Number 11 is pre-filled with the name and contact information for the program sponsor point of contact. Next, we'll look at page 3 that outlines agreements and required signatures. As you see on the screen, number 1 should be signed by the apprentice, and no signature is needed for number 2. The signature for number 3 is pre-filled, and number 4 is a signature required from an EPP representative. Number 5 should be signed by a district representative, and number 6 remains unsigned. Now that we've reviewed an Occupation 671, we'll transition into Appendix A. In Appendix A, there is one item needed for submission, and that is a sample schedule of coursework. A sample schedule may be found on this slide, and the EPP is responsible for offering coursework associated with an apprentice's progression through their program. Again, in Appendix A, the only item needed for submission is that of a sample schedule. Appendix D is the Employer Acceptance Agreement. This form should be completed by a district representative who serves as the program employer. In addition to contact information, page 1 asks for the journey worker wage at the bottom of the page. Here, a district representative will indicate the hourly wage an apprentice will receive once they become a teacher. Page 2 of this form requests submission of the wage progression an apprentice will earn as they complete the pathway. Referring to information submitted in Section 7 of the application, indication of the starting wage with increases to reflect the experience an apprentice will receive as they gain on-the-job learning hours is required. To complete the total workforce portion at the bottom of page 2, districts will estimate the total number of workers employed by their district. They will also include the total number of apprentices to be employed. After forms are ready for submission, they should be sent in an email to the address found here. Please note, this is my email address, and if any questions come to mind while working to complete, I'd be happy to support your work of documents needed to register your program and candidates for apprenticeship. There are many resources also available to help explain the shift and grow your own models reflective of a long-term, sustainable model that will impact teacher recruitment and retention. This is very much a collaborative effort, and we know collectively, with a team of committed and dedicated stakeholders, the apprenticeship will result in well-prepared, high-quality educators across the state of Tennessee. Thank you for joining in. We look forward to ongoing engagement with you and in the work ahead.